Okay, we'll get started now. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for attending our webinar to learn about the new features in ODT Rentals version 15. My name is Darren Christofferson. I've been at Open Door for 20 years, working with rentals for the past 10 years and our Business Central apps and extensions. The agenda for today's webinar will be the following. We've added rental deposits. We've added a summary view of rental units available by location from the group availability matrix. We've added a mobile device scan that shows rental unit information, not just a summary. We've added the new Business Central incoming documents to rental quotes and contracts. And we added an option to skip rental group availability validation on rental quotes. First item, rental deposits. The deposit calculation can be specified as a percentage of cost or a specified deposit amount, and that would be per unit. Deposit application can be set up as either a refund on rental unit return, draw down all invoices, or draw down last invoice only. And there's setup on rental management setup on customers and on rental units to handle these things. So we'll get started. This is Business Central with rentals included. We're going to start off at the rental management setup window. And in the deposit section, we have some defaults that are available for the entire system. And then we can override that on customers and contracts and units. So as I mentioned before, the options are for deposit application are refund on rental unit return, draw down all invoices, or draw down last invoice only. And the options for deposit calculation is percentage of replacement cost and specified deposit amount. Now we have to specify what that percentage would be if we're selecting replacement costs. And we have to define the deposit liability GL account, the default deposit bank account, and the default payment method. There's also two options to auto post. I'm going to leave those off for now so we can see the transactions in the journals, and we'll post those manually. Next, we're going to go to customers, and we'll see that we have a new rental. This one has no setup. This one has required deposits and said it's going to refund on rental unit return. This customer, same thing, but draw down all invoices. And this one, draw down last invoice only. So we'll probably work with refund on return, and I'll show you how that works. The next setup we're going to take a look at is on the rental units themselves. So if it's a group, we can specify the deposit calculation and the amount on the group, and it'll cascade to each child in that group. So in this particular one, our Whacker excavator group, we've specified a deposit amount of $2,000. On this group, similar, $150 per unit. This group, this is an example that would be a percentage. Oh, no, not that one. This one is a percentage. So percentage of replacement costs being 5%. And on the units, I've specified what the replacement cost would be for that calculation. If we take a look at a rental quote, we'll create a new quote for Tray Research, which is customer 20,000. We're going to add a couple items from the units that have deposits set up. So we'll start with the Whacker excavator, right? And you can see that it said that a deposit is required for $2,000. I'm going to select a unit now, just to make this a little bit easier going forward. And we'll do one for the unit that we know is a percentage. So in this particular case, we'll do a couple of those. We'll specify some units. Now we see a different number here. What's going on with that? If we take a look at unit number 3, it has an overridden amount. That the replacement cost is only 800, so the calculation is coming out to 40. So this must be an older unit. So that's that. The other thing that we can do is we can also modify this. I'm going to say, perhaps this is for a good customer. I can uncheck that deposit's required, or I can say I don't really know these people very well, so I'm going to say $100 each. And now our tax calculation has come out to a different number. I'm going to go into the deposit and calculate deposit. 21. Oh, see, this is turned it back. 100. Okay, so now we have $2,200 that is updated. And now, if I print, I can view on the quote report that will be sent to the customer. It's showing the deposit amount that will be required for the contract. So when we send that to the customer, they'll see that a deposit's going to be required before we can ship. If they've approved that, I can go ahead and make contract for the quote. Now I'm in the contract, has all the same information, still looking at 2,200 for the deposit. If I try to ship right now, it gives me an error saying a deposit is required. So it won't let me ship until I've satisfied that deposit requirement. I can come into the deposit calculator, or the deposit page, and based on the defaults I set up in rental management setup earlier, it's pre-populate a few things. I can change this if I want. If there's given us cash or credit card, I'm going to leave it on check. The amount is pre-populated based on what's calculated on the contract. And now I can just click add deposit. And because we have auto post turned off, it showed me the cash receipts journal, and you can see 2,200 is going into our bank account, which is their rental deposits liability account that we set up. I can post this, and then contract and look at rental transactions. We can now see we've got 2,200 deposit that is tracked, and we can see our contract deposit amount equals, and we have no outstanding deposit required. So now I can go back to my rental contract, ship it, and we have shipped successfully. These are both end transactions. So I would process normally. I'm going to come to the end date, which would be January 30th. I'm going to change the posting date on my contract to be January 30th. And I'm going to mark everything as ready to return and then process the return. Okay. So now we should see everything that has been returned, right? Nothing on rent anymore. And now we have a refundable deposit amount has been calculated for us to equal the contract deposit amount, because the setup for this customer was refund on rental unit return. Since we've returned the units, we have an amount we can refund now. So again, same page we went to capture the deposit. We'll calculate the journal lines for the refund. We'll select the deposit amount that was created earlier and then enter the amount to refund. So this gives us a little bit of flexibility if perhaps they have another contract that's going out. They can add or subtract rental units. Not everything is returned at the same time. So if you return some and then maybe rent something else, we may not want to refund the entire amount and maybe use some of it for a new rental. There's also the possibility to transfer rentals to a different contract. But we'll go ahead and refund everything for now. I'm going to click refund deposits. It says, do you want to do it? Yes. And now we've got the payment journal. And you can see that our payment method is going to be check. We got 2,200 coming out of our checking account and from the liability account. So we're going to post this. And yes, it's okay. It's checking based on my work date. Okay, so I've posted the payment for the refund. Now you can see that there's nothing left in the deposit page. We have a refunded deposit amount equal to the original deposit amount, and the outstanding is 0. So that was rental deposits. Next up, we have units available by location. So this was an enhancement that we made to the rental group availability matrix. I'm going to go back to the role center. And the group availability of matrix is available in a few different places. I'm going to go off of this action. I'm going to go out to, maybe let's make it January 2nd. And now we can see we've got our group availability matrix. We have some transactions happening in group 10. If I select group 10 and select rental unit available by location, shows up in a new screen with the availability for the dates selected by location, similar to what we would see in inventory, right? If we view inventory available by location. But because that's a one point in time and this is over a period of time, it's nice to see what we have available. And if we drill into it, we can see that there's 2 that are on contract 40 that are due to be returned shortly. There's also some here out of the West warehouse that are on contract 41. That's due to be returned on the 4th. So that's the unit availability by location. Next up is rental unit scanning. So we've added a page in Business Central that leverages the data search that's already native to BC, but we've added some of our rental tables to be searchable in there, including the rental unit list and rental reservations, I believe, a couple other. If we go back into rentals and we go at the top here, there has this rental data search. If I select it, you can see I have a barcode scanner with my cursor in that field. I've got a barcode scanner right here. I'm going to scan barcode for SRU 00001, which I know is a rental unit in my fleet. And you can see it's showing up in a few different places. So the rental unit list, I can click on and it takes me directly to that card, right? And I can see all the information about that. I can see where it's on rent, and I can drill right down to that contract if I want. Okay. Other things that are available in there, some rental reservations. I see that it's right. It's currently on 40, but it will be on 42 next month. And then some rental ledger entries as well. So that would be the shipping and the returns and whatnot. I'm going to transfer over to my phone now. We're going to open up the Business Central app. And this is the same database that we were just looking at. If I go to the main menu, you can see the same rental data search is available. This is the barcode scanner. If the field is enabled for barcode scanning, you'll see this icon to the right. If I touch that, it gives me the option to scan. There you go. Same barcode that we used in Business Central with the barcode scanner. You can do on a smartphone. I can tap on that and it shows me the rental unit just like it did on the computer. And again, we can drill down into the document and see where it is. So it's rented by a Datum Corporation. And that's what we wanted to show on the phone. Incoming documents. So the incoming documents feature was something that was added in standard Business Central on sales documents and purchase documents and whatnot. And in rentals, we've included it in our documents. So if we look at a rental contract, documents fact box, where we can add new, and then, right, I'm going to upload supporting attachment. I'm going to browse into my, let's go to desktop, and there's no, pictures, no, desktop. There you go, rental terms and conditions. We'll do that. Okay, and then from here, if I click on it, it shows me my terms and conditions page. If I go in and click incoming document, it opens the documents page. And in there, I can set some things up. I can attach additional files, right? I'll go in here and let's see, I've got a Bosch user manual. We'll add that. Now you can also set it up to do some OCR processing. We can attach an image from a camera if you want. And we can set it up to require approvals. And that's basically the functionality. There's also some ability to scan across documents and have a main document with multiple supporting documents under it. But that's available on rental quote, rental contract, and the completed quote and contract as well. They're hidden by default, so you have to personalize and show those, but they're there, similar to functionality that was added recently in sales and purchasing. All right. Last thing that we're going to cover today is the ability to skip rental group availability validation on rental quotes. And why is that important? As we know, in our rentals, we have the ability to specify rentals as allow overbooking. Okay, and what that does is it allows you to overbook as much as you like. The problem with that is that it will allow you to overbook on both contracts and quotes. So if that's turned off, and in rental management setup, we have skip quote group availability check, then we can go to a quote and overbook. So I know I've got 5 of those in my fleet. I can put 6 in there. No problem. It lets me do it. If I try and do the same thing on a contract, I will still be able to validate that it's not going to allow me to do that. Five is okay. 6 is not. Right? Which is what we want. We want to be able to have want to be able to create as many quotes as we want, because not all quotes are going to become contracts. But on the contract side, we can lock it down so that we're not overextending ourselves. Right? And that is about it. Some things we have coming out in future releases. We're working on telematics. which would be GPS integration, being able to download meter readings and find locations using GPS tracking for the rental units. Copilot is a big deal in Business Central, and we'll be including Copilot functionality in the future releases as well. And we're very excited about that. We're doing an integration to advanced warehousing so that we have integration with picks and putaways in advanced warehouse for rentals, if you have advanced warehouse set up. We have rental unit attributes set up in query, which allows us to, similar to dimensions, define a structure for attributes and then query on them. We're adding an integration to additional remote signing partners in the future. We currently have DocuSign, but there's been some suggestions that perhaps we should have some other ones. So we're looking to do that in a future release as well. And continuous scanning of rental units when populating rental contracts is something else that's been suggested. And that's it. So thank you for attending. If you have any questions about this update, please email us at hi@opendoorerp.com, and we will reply with an answer for you as soon as possible. Thank you for attending our webinar. Have a good day. Thanks.